Hi guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. I greatly appreciate them. This is the daily forecast for all signs. It is a shared reading amongst us all. It will affect us, as much as sort of we allow it or as much as we let it in, kind of thing. Be open to it. It is originally set for Tuesday, the 28th of September, but it is not solely set for that date. If you're seeing it on a different date, I would take the meaning or the message rather than the date that it was set for, if that makes any sense, okay? So don't get caught up in all of that. What else was I going to say? Please check out the drop-down menu in the daily videos for any information you may need. I'm going to kill these dogs. They all have one singular chew toy. There's chew toys all over the floor. They have one toy that they're all fighting over. Like 3 of the dogs. They've decided that they each want this one particular toy. And of course it's about the fight. It's not about the toy. They just like the excitement of the growling, snarling, snapping noises. But it's like way too early in the morning for this, and I'm trying to get too much done. Anyways, trials of a single mother. So, let's get into this. So we've got Tuesday the 28th. What do the cards want us to know? We will build upon the previous readings if there is a need to do that. You can also check out the daily in the bottom right-hand corner at the end of this video. I mean the weekly, so you understand what I'm referring back to as far as the weekly reading is concerned. And please check out your tarot scripts for the month of October. Those are all up for all signs. I had mislabeled them for the month of September because I'm not paying attention, but I fixed that on the YouTube channel. All right, so let's see what our card is for today. 4 of Swords. Okay, guys. So we are still in that swords energy, still in our mind, still in our thoughts, still an emphasis on communication, how we're communicating. Today would be the day where it's not necessarily about how we're communicating. It's more probably about how we're not communicating, where we're pulling back, where we're taking care of ourselves. Today would be a day of mental self-care. Today would be a day of meditation, contemplation, introspection, right? That would be 4 of Swords, meaning big time. To me, the 4 of Swords is about going inward, listening to one's own voice over the voices of others. Remember, we had some dicey cards the last few days. I feel like we kicked off with that 5 of Swords energy, which could somewhat be still under this, but I don't think so, because the 4 of Swords would be retracting that argumentativeness that's in the 5 of Swords, that trying to convince someone else of our way, whether we're the one doing the convincing or someone else in our life is trying to convince us. So, this might be them letting off the gas, so to speak, or leaving us alone for a moment, allowing us a moment's peace to get clear in our own head, in our own heart, right? So that's a beautiful thing. We need to honor this time in this space to kind of find more stability, mental stability ideally, and clear out our head, clear out our thoughts, clearly think about what it is we want to express in the week going forward. Remember, we're getting to the midweek, right? So we have sort of that 5 of Swords energy might still be lingering in the background, but we also have that Empress coming in. So this is the renewal of the Empress to me as far as what the 4 of Swords represents. It's that time to like sort of get mentally clear and stable so that we can appreciate the power, the beauty, the creativity of something new, the rebirth that the Empress will bring in the midweek, right? So keeping that in mind, not all is lost, so to speak, if we've been dealing with a problem or a person or a situation that's been out of hand or driving us a little bit nuts. Even if that person is our own selves, right? Because sometimes we can be our own worst critic and our own worst enemy. It's okay to stop, pause, give ourselves a break, and allow ourselves to rest. We don't have to control it all. We don't have to manipulate it all. We don't have to make it all in our favor or in a certain way so that our story plays out or we feel vindicated or validated. Sometimes we can just withdraw, and that's a strong enough message, if that makes sense, right? And this is more about, to me, this card is more about self-preservation and taking care of ourselves rather than worrying about, say, another or a situation at hand that we might feel that we're a part of that we no longer want to deal with. That's okay. Step away is sort of the gist of this card. Give yourself this day to be calm. Limit your intake of bullshittery. I love some of the things that I come up with way early in the morning, only with a cup of coffee. Um, if that's such a thing, I think that it is. I think that that can be such a thing as limiting your intake of bullshittery, right? Like, let's not, we get to pick and choose today with this Four of Swords, who we let in, long they stay, and when they have to leave, right? And I mean, like, within our head, within our mind, within our thoughts, within our focus, within our attention. So use that to your advantage today. Use it for a moment of self-care. Use it for a moment of clarity, stability, all of those things that the Four of Swords would represent. Now, here is our um, oracle card for the day. It is card number 17, and it's the animal guides of Avalon, the stag, which is pride and leadership. Card 17 is going to boil down numerologically to an 8, which is going to bring about, to me, a bit of balance and harmony within ourselves. The stag, to me, I love is because he's an like sort of very capable, strong animal that can defend himself. Right? He has worked hard to sort of get where he is, to be known for who he is. The pride and leadership should be about feeling good about ourselves, ideally, but not necessarily needing to have others feel good about us. Does that make sense? Like, I sort of feel, and also I love that we have a 4 in the Four of Swords and we have an 8 in the stag. So there's a nice, like, kind of, 4 goes evenly into 8. So there's this sort of idea of maybe if we take care of ourselves, if we mentally clean house, if we sort of rest a bit, we might actually be able to restore our pride, our balance, and be able to sort of lead again or sit from a position of power. Even in the quiet or even in the withdrawal, there's a strength there. We don't necessarily need anyone else. The stag doesn't necessarily need anyone else to survive. He kind of hangs on his own, takes care of his stuff in his own way, and is able to do so, right? I also love that the stag has those antlers there, which kind of is his way of keeping people at bay, similar to the Four of Swords, right? Those antlers kind of reach out before him. And I love that they symbolize coming out of his head, right? Out of his 6th and 7th chakra. In a sense, like protecting our mind, our thoughts, our attentions, where they are, right? So that, to me, as far as an animal, kind of also keys into this Four of Swords energy, like back up off my brain. I'm not renting space to you this morning. You're not allowed here right now, and that's okay. And that's sort of where stag protects himself from, is through his antlers predominantly. So we can kind of put those antlers out there and keep those, problems, people, situations from renting space in our head today. And in doing so, we can, find our own sense of self again or restore that sense of self. That's how we see pride and leadership in the stag card. And we can feel, ideally whole again, maybe after today's finished. Now, let's go to the grounding stone. And here's our grounding stone. Okay. And the word is honor. Something to ground in. Honoring ourselves first and foremost through this first of Four of Swords definitely is key here. The stag, pride and leadership, is also honoring the self, but maybe more at a social level, or allowing ourselves to be seen. Taking the higher road is definitely like a theme that I feel like these three want to come together. Not engaging, not participating in low-level, argumentative, disruptive behavior. Going inward, honoring, maybe ourselves, the situation, another person, by not engaging with them, by not fighting with them, by not, and they may not see that as an honoring, but it is. And we need to look at it and hold it as such, and then be aware that that's what we're doing. Even if the only thing we're doing is honoring ourselves first and foremost in this retreat, or in this, mental self-care that is taking place today, allow yourself that. Lord knows you deserve it, right? The stag didn't get where he is by being messy. Let's just say that. That ain't no messy stag up in there. So we want to be strong, we want to be ready, we want to be our own leader, right? We don't allow others to run riot in our life or their situations, their needs, their silliness in a way, right? Whatever, because yesterday we saw that Seven of Swords and we have that Five of Swords underneath this. So again, we don't want to engage in the trivial or in things that drain us or pull our energy. It's not worth it to us today. It's about building ourselves up. It's about a rebirth. It's about creativity. And we need to maybe take that day to honor ourselves, maybe honor the situation by not engaging, and allow the Empress to come in and rebuild us. Allow her to give us an opportunity to see and nurture ourselves in a different way, okay? And from that, there will be a rebirth, there will be creativity, there will be a forward movement that we need this week. Remember, the word too also for this week is, or the oracle card was trust. Here's a perfect point where we honor ourselves and trust ourselves first and foremost above anybody else and whatever the situation may need. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Again, also the grounding stone is angel, so turn to your higher power, to your guardian angels, to your higher self for advice and guidance. That is your forecast. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Have a great day. Bye-bye.